So we start with the rose. I have the roses made, a couple of them, which is here. Okay. So I have the colored gum paste, which means with the white gum paste, I have added a bit of yellow and a bit of orange, and I have this particular shade. Now I have 4 different sizes of the rose cutter, which I'm going to use. You could just maybe write down the number of the petals. I'll use the first layer will be 2 of this size. Second layer will be 3 of this size. Third layer will be 3 of the size. Fourth layer will be 5 of the size. Fifth layer will be 5 of this. Sixth again 5 of this. Seventh again will be 5 of this. Okay. So I have a rose veiner as well, which is this, which gives like the rose veining pretty much more natural. Let me just knead the gum paste. So this also you need it paper thin. I'm just going to dust a bit of corn flour and use a cutter. I'm going to start with, I said 2 of this and 3 of this, right? So I'll just need 5. So, but each of this before putting it in a Ziploc. So this is one important step where the shape of the petal is like this, right? But that much is just not enough to build a rose. So I will be expanding the petal diagonally this side out and this side out. Here I'm going to extend and there also I'm going to extend. For rose veiner, there is no brand as such. Any brand would work, but then you have to just check for the veiner. I think I got this from a local clay supplies store. But then I think Home Craft also has. Now, I've just modified this petal, the same one. This is the original and that is the modified. I've just extended on the outside. So I will just do that to all the petals, rolling them diagonally outward. So first step is to modify the cut petal by rolling it diagonally outward. And that will give me thinner petal. Just rolling in the middle as well because I don't want the flat look on the top. So that's made all my petals quite thin edge. Okay, now and I'm going to vein all the petals. So building the first few layers will be important because you just need to create a closed coil. So we start with a bud. I have the bud with me. Once I have all the 5 petals, I'll just pick up the bud. And so rose bud, you can have a thermocol bud in the shape, or you can also make it with gum paste. So this is made with gum paste. Okay. And I have the glue. Now to start with 2 petals in the first layer. Until then, I'm just going to keep the 3 petals, which I will use it for the next layer only, inside the ziplock. Now to each of these petals, I'm just going to apply the glue on the left side. Left bottom is where I am just applying the glue. And then I'm just picking this up, and it needs to be taller than the bud. I'm sticking on the left side where the glue was applied, and then I'm just going to tuck this petal within the first one, and then I will just wrap this petal around the first. So that will be how it will look. But what I will do now is I will just create a closed coil now. The left side is not having enough glue. I'll just stick that well. Tucking in the second petal, then creating a closed coil. So I'm just going to use my finger like so, and then keep turning. So my center is formed with like a very tiny hole in between. Now after that, I know where exactly my right side of the petal will end. So I'm just opening that side of the flower and adding the glue and sticking it. So my centermost should be like quite closed and opening. Okay. Now I'll need the next 3. With a similar logic, I will stick 3 around. The first one will be the first size 2, and then I have 3 petals of the same logic. Glue on the left side, glue on the left side, glue on the left side for all 3. The height of the petals should just be the same. Start with 1, overlap 2, and now my third petal should overlap on the first. So I'm tucking it in. Third petal should overlap on the first. So my position of the second and the third should be even around. Now after this again, keeping the height the same, I will just wrap it around. I'm making sure it's almost a closed coil again. And once I wrapped around, I will know the position of where I need to stick the right side. So I'll open up, I'll add the glue and stick the right side. So that will be my second layer. Now, in this first cutter's stuff is all done, right? So the second cutter, I have the petals cut in Ziploc. So this is the next size. I'm going to need 3 and I have to vein them. They are rolled and extended just to save the time, which is the second size, and that will be the third layer. Same way, glue goes on the left bottom. Same way, you will just wrap it around. The third petal will overlap the first one. Now, once you have the position, you will stick the right side. So it is the same logic. The only difference is what size you're using and how many numbers. Now the number of 3 petals will just be over now. From the next layer onwards, it is going to be 5 petals, which is size 2, the same size as this layer, and I'm going to add 5 petals. So it looks like this at the stage. Okay, now the same size, 5 petals. So veining them on, and then we'll just stick them around. Now 5 will overlap. When you have 5 to overlap, again it is the same logic. Glue will just go on the left. To overlap 5, you just need to tuck in a bit, a little close than what you did for 3 petals together, because only the 5th petal should overlap on the first one. And make sure the height of the petal is all the same as the layer before that. So I have the 5th layer overlapping on the first. Just make sure the height is the same. And once you have the position, just open out. Just pulling up the petal before the glue properly sticks. So the building of the center will be till the stage. You have the center formed like so. Okay. So the next, there are 3 more layers. I have the next size into which a petal is cut, and this will be dried out on a teaspoon. like a plastic spoon. I'll just show you how. So the next size cutter is cut and then extended. Now I'm just going to vein it. Once the veining is done, I'll get a spoon. I place this petal on the spoon, but then I will just curl the petal on one side alone. I will need 5 petals like that as Priya to keep the petals. So I've prepared 5 more, which I will be using to stick because you want that to dry out. And then the next layer, you will need the petals to be curling up on both the sides. Petals, spoon like petals. அதுதான் வேணும். So now that's the last one, the last size, which I am going to vein and put it on the spoon. And this previous layer is curled on just one side, right? Now this particular size will go to the spoon and it will get curled on both the sides. So how I do the both sides is like, so press it on the spoon. And this needs to dry out, say, at least for 15 minutes or so. Now, 2 different shapes are dried. So, one is on one side and then another one on both the sides. Now, I have the layers dried with me. So, first I'm going to pick up the ones that are dried on one side. It was just made like 10 minutes back to cut down on the time. So they are in the spoons, which are dried on one side. I'm going to apply the glue on the left side. I'll just start. The height I will just hold in the same place. Same logic, tuck in. And the 5th petal should overlap the first one. So I will adjust the positions accordingly. And once I have the positions, same way, I'll just go around and then stick the right side. Just opening it out a little bit, making sure it is stuck well. The base is shaking up a little bit, so I'm just going to, because it is gum paste and it is heavy, I'm just going to add some glue there and then pass this through and make sure it just sticks there for me and doesn't just fall down, because we have 2 more layers coming up. Okay, so this layer is done. The next layer is the same size but folded on both sides. And again, it will be glue on the left side. And here I'm just going to reduce the height a little bit, because the outer layers of the rose kind of goes down a bit. I'm just holding around and tucking in. There is glue on the left side, and my last petal will overlap the first. So once I have my positions, I will do the glue. So that's how it looks at the stage. I'll just add the glue on the right side. We're going to turn it upside down to make sure glue is there and it is stuck well. So this is, I think it needs a little bit more drying time because of the weight, and unless this layer completely dries, I'll not be able to stick the outermost one. But the outermost one is that biggest size with the petals, which are folded on both ends. So the petal looks like that, which is folded on both ends. Let me just try to stick it around, but while the petals of the previous layer is still a little gooey, the glue is still not dried out. So what I'm going to do, going to hold it upside down and put the glue, but then allowing some drying time there would make it a bit more easier. But just because we are just running short of time, I'm going to start sticking it, probably upside down. Then I'll tuck it in. Tuck it in on this, but then put it outside of the first petal. So that's the logic that we followed, right? Unless I open it out to show how it is on the right side out. Now all the 5 petals are done. So I will open out the right side and stick the petal. So all the right side of the petal, and then on the inside as well, I'm just going to add in a good amount of glue. Make sure it is stuck well. And then let me carefully open on the other side. And now I just need to position it because you don't want it too tall. I'm just pushing it down because the last layer's height should be a little lower. I'm just pressing it down so the petals are attached. So you have the fully built rose layers look like that. But definitely drying time is needed now. If I am going to, because there is glue all over here, and if I'm going to place it upside down, the petals may kind of fall off. So I just have a trick to place the petals drying out like so. So I just want to show how the layers are built. Okay, so that's your final rose. But then I have a cooling rack here, and then like maybe a box. Okay, so I'm going to fold this tape upside down and then hang it here. So you need to allow this at least overnight for all the glue to settle down and for the rose to actually take the shape like this, where it is completely dried out and then it is solid. So we have just built the rose and we need to allow it to dry, obviously. But then a completed rose, like I showed, is going to look like this. So we finished making the rose. If you have doubts on the rose, you could just text in. But I'm just going to catch up on stacking. We have everything ready, but I think I'll just roll out and cover the board and do the stacking part. I will also have the flowers that I will just use to finish. Probably we'll see if we can just finish all the three together in like a one sitting. So we can just maybe quickly wrap up and that will be maybe the last one to go.